Do you know where most of your pain and struggle in the relationship stems from? It's not that you don't care enough about her or that you didn't spend enough time with her. It's not even that you don't know how to properly communicate with her. It all stems from one skill that you actually used to have, to possess, a skill that made her respect and even cherish you. That skill is your ability to get your wife to hate you. Now look, I'm not being controversial for controversial's sake. I am being a little dramatic, but there's a difference. The truth is that complacency, seeking rapport with your wife, and worrying what she thinks are symptoms of a weakened man. Now, I'm not gonna tell you what you want to hear in this video, but rather what you need to hear. She needs to feel something with you. So as soon as you can harness this skill by watching today's video and make it your own, you will command respect. You will create an atmosphere of intense passion and learn how to flirt with your wife again in a way that she is actually receptive to. Today, you're gonna get your wife to hate you so much that she loves you again. Just imagine for a second, being able to walk up to her with a full heart out of your own head and into hers, smiling no matter what she gives you. Your presence and energy just draws her into you again. What this will do is that it'll cultivate charisma on high. That is my goal for you in the next few minutes. So let's jump in. There's this quote that I loved when I first heard it. The opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. Now we often think that hate is the opposite of love. However, they're not two sides of the same coin. Let me show you what I mean. Now, when most people think of love, they think of it on this continuum. There's like, you either love someone or you hate them, right? That's the polar opposites. But something like love, it is a lot more complicated. There's a lot of variables that kind of go on. And so we want to think of this, we want to add another variable here. And this variable is the amount of care she has towards you. So we have high care, and then we have low care down here. All right, so we can see that there's 4 different types of guys that she can perceive, and you can be all 4 types. Now, relationships thrive and actually work out and have longevity when you're above this line right here. And we'll call this line the indifference threshold. As soon as she goes below that, she doesn't like you anymore, because the ultimate thing that you're striving for is high care and high love, which would be just the apex man, right? The guy that she just wants to be with, makes her feel amazing. That's what we're gonna strive to get you with today. But even if you're over here, you do things that piss her off. She yells at you, she criticizes you, she still cares about you, right? She still wants to be in a relationship with you, right? This is criticism because she expects you to be better. You used to be better. She's trying to get you to be a better man. But as soon as you fall below the indifference threshold, that's when you fall into a guy who's like no contact. She's just like completely, I'm done with you. I don't want to talk to you. There's apathy. Just get out of my life. I don't want you to exist. It's not even from a place of I'm mad at you. I just go away. You don't exist to me. And this one hurts way more than being up here. Okay, but you could still strive to go from here and move yourself up into the actual above the indifference threshold by the techniques I'm gonna show you today. And this guy is most of the guys that are watching this video in our program, which is like, he's a good father, good friend. There's like love there, but there's no care. Okay, and so we're gonna strive to be the apex man, but just recognize that this one over here, being criticized and hated, is better than being the friend. This is like the friend zone if you weren't married to her. Now, what does this ability actually do for her to get her to hate you? Well, for most men in our program, their wife is the fearful avoidant style. And if you click this video, that means you most likely fall into the anxious type, because the anxious type and the avoidant type, they get into the perpetual cycle of the chaser and the runner away. Okay. Now, the anxious attachment styles have a fear of abandonment, and this fear can lead them to be overly clingy and dependent on their partner's constant reassurance that they'll never leave. Because of that, they tend to seek frequent validation and reassurance from them. They may worry about their partner's feelings and nonverbal affirmations to feel secure in the relationship, and without that, they just have this empty hole they need to fill. There's often hypervigilance in the relationship cues. So those with an anxious style are highly sensitive to any perceived changes in their partner's behavior. They might interpret the smallest of actions like a delayed text response as a sign of disinterest or rejection, leading to heightened anxiety. The 4th sign of an anxious style is overthinking and emotional roller coasters. They will often overthink situations, roleplay conversations, or overanalyze their partner's words and actions and hidden meanings. This can lead to an intense emotional highs and lows as they fluctuate between hope and fear. The 5th sign is that there's difficulty in trusting even in committed relationships with people with anxious style. They may struggle to fully trust their partner's love and loyalty, and they may be suspicious of their partner's motives or worry that their partner will eventually leave them or hurt them despite evidence to the contrary. Now, as the avoidant type, her most important need is safety and autonomy. So when a man cannot care as much about his wife the way she thinks and feels about him, she feels safer. When there's less clinging to, she feels that autonomy and she can breathe. Let me show you how the model plays out. Okay, so this is the infinity loop in EFT therapy. Now, I know it looks a little complicated, but it's super simple. So let's just play along with this, okay? So let's say partner 1 is you and you are the anxious style. and she is the avoidant. Under the surface means it's subconscious and we're not aware of it. It is not in reality, it's in the person's heart and mind. And this is the behavior consciously that we see, okay, in your partner, in yourself. So if we go down to the subconscious behavior in your partner, it says, I yearn for this. This is how I wish to feel. So she, because she's avoidant, she wants to feel free and have autonomy and feel safe. So if we continue here, when she says, what I yearn for is challenged or seems to not be happening, this is my vulnerable deep down feeling. So she may feel suffocated, right? Or she may feel controlled or saying she's being manipulated. So if your wife has ever called you controlling or manipulative, you can see how this is actually really playing out, right? So because she feels those things, now we go to the surface. So when her vulnerable feelings seem too difficult, the reactive cover feeling she feels that she shows instead. So oftentimes with an avoidant style, it is avoidance or shutting down or being apathetic or pretending that she doesn't care, okay? That is usually the feeling of the avoidant. They just go into stonewalling, as Dr. Gottman says, where they shut down completely or they run away, okay? Now, what I think about me then is, I'm so over this, I'm so done, I don't love you anymore, I don't care, right? That's oftentimes what they'll think. And what she thinks about the other person, like as I said down here before, is, she'll call you controlling or manipulative or clingy or needy, and she'll straight up just call it out to you. Then what I do to take care of myself is, of course, she can just run away. So that's the behavior. However, when she runs away and pulls away, let's go down to yours. What you yearn for is closeness, right? You want her in your life. You just want her back. You want to feel connected to her. And whenever you yearn for that and it's not happening, you feel fearful. You feel scared. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be abandoned. But instead of showing that, the fearful abandonment, the vulnerable feeling, you're going to show anxiety. Okay, you're gonna show a lot of anxiety. And when you have the anxiety, you're gonna think to yourself, you can fill in the blank for yourself here. You can put it in the comments down below as well. And then what you think about her is maybe she's so what? Fill in the blanks. I want you to do this yourself so you can take some action, okay? So fill in these blanks. And then what do you do to take care of yourself? You'll text her a lot. You'll try to convince her. You'll use logic. You'll do all these things to get her to come back to you. But when you're doing all that, we cycle back here again. And now you can see how this pattern plays out. Now you know a little bit more and how the pattern of caring too much is pushing her away and being too likable, okay? You're smothering her. Now in that infinity loop, we saw the surface level emotions and then the underlying vulnerable emotions. And it's important for you to go to the source of where this is all coming from. Now, yesterday, I was having a conversation with one of our clients and his wife just said, I need these things. I need a little bit more time, but he has so much self-sabotaging tendencies in this guy. It's just so frustrating. I want to wring him by the neck and be like, dude, wake up. But here's what I did with him, okay? I said, Scott, what is it that she's really giving you? What do you really care about? He's like, I just want her back. I said, yeah, but why? Like, what is she giving you tangibly? He's like, I can't describe it. I just need her back. Like she's all I know. I spent my whole life with my parents and then I met her and I've never been alone. I don't know who I am without her. When he said that, I was like, Scott, listen, she will only be with a man who knows who he is without her. When you can be okay by yourself, she wants to be with that man, the man that has the capability to be okay without her. You see the unfortunate irony here? When I said that to him, he took a deep breath and just relaxed. And I asked him, and I'll ask you this question too. When was the last time you felt completely okay around her? When you felt confident and relaxed, despite how she felt towards you? There was a few moments in your history of your relationship where you felt this way. And so he started to tell the story. And when he started to tell this story about how he was just confident around her, you remember he took her on this date and he was just telling jokes. He wasn't in his head at all. I saw his whole demeanor shift. I said, that guy right there, if you can be that guy all the time, she'll come back. You see, what Scott has, what many of the clients I work with in our program have, is what's called approval addiction. It's classified by a constant need for validation or frequently seeking your partner's approval, sacrificing personal goals, or giving up your own dreams or desires and ambitions to accommodate her needs, the fear of abandonment, having intense fear that their partner will leave, leading you to feel overly clingy and accommodating. There's an emotional overinvestment, feeling responsible for managing her emotions, often neglecting your own personal well-being. There's an avoidance of conflict, suppressing your own feelings and opinions to avoid upsetting her. There's a lack of boundaries, allowing her to cross your personal boundaries in order to keep the peace and gain approval. There's a low sense of self-esteem, becoming dependent on her validation and affection. And there's excessive apologizing, even when it's not your fault, just to maintain harmony in the relationship. I know right now a lot of you are saying like, that is 100% me. And I get it. I still struggle with these things myself, but being aware is the first step in overcoming it. For the final part of this video, I was just thinking, how did I overcome this cause myself, this symptom, this problem? And I came up with 3 things on how to stop it. The first thing is I want you to look back at a time in your life where you had the lowest sense of care about other people. And oftentimes what you're gonna see is that there was 2 factors going on in your life. You had this freaking higher purpose goal that you were striving toward every day that was more about yourself. It was more than yourself. It was serving others. It was serving some higher purpose greater than you. So you're getting out of your own needs. And the second thing is that you had a good social network. You had a lot of friends you were seeing, or coworkers, or family. Like you're around family more. You were just surrounding yourself with the tribe. And when you have more connections, neurologically, you are less dependent and anxious because you have this like security that you can fall back on other people for support. It's not a conscious awareness, it's just a subconscious awareness. So spend time with more people, create more connections with others. And by far the best way to do this is to join a community of other men going through the same issue as you. So if you want that opportunity, you can set up a call down below to finally take care of this for good, to win her back. The second thing that I did was I audited my life. It seems so simple that like, okay, I know the life I want to live, I know the man I want to become, but then you actually look at this, you write it on paper, and you're seeing that your daily actions aren't matching your goals that you have. How much time do you spend on meaningless things? How much time do you waste on certain goals? Are you eating correctly if you want a good body? Are you working out enough? Are you actually journaling every night? Are you meditating if you struggle with being reactive? Are you seeing an expert to go to the source of these issues? Or are you just reading a couple books and being like, okay, I kind of get it. Like this video is great, it brings awareness, but then you have to take action on the awareness or you'll go back to the status quo. And the final thing is that I've healed the wounds of the people who wronged me. And that one right there, doing that deep inner work to remove those past anchors holding you back from the life you want to live now, that's the most powerful. Now, there are 3 unique things that turn a hopeless marriage around. That video is right here. So I would check that out. Set up a call down below if you're fully committed to saving your marriage. Thank you for watching to the very end. Love you. Take care. Just like the video if you liked it.